I am again joined with Razzmann. Hello, Razzmann.
Yo, what's up?
So, today, we will be making a South Korean deck right after we made our US mech deck. To be basically these two groups will be used in tandem. And you also don't have a South Korean deck, I hear, Razzmann.
Not yet.
Any particular reason why?
Why should I play South Korea when I can play Blue Dragons?
That's a
That's
good enough reason.
yeah.
All right. So, yeah, this it still gives us South Korea is still a decent nation on all of its own. So let's take a
Yeah,
look at
it's
what they
it's
give.
it's no North Korea, that's for sure.
Yeah, in this way, it's actually good.
Yeah.
All right. So of course we got a fob. This is the one where the helicopter is actually a little bit kind of decent because the cargo kind of crap. But I mean, the cargoes are still pretty
Well,
good.
I mean, it depends. For 45 points, you can also get 3 cargos, which have the same amount of supply than the CH-47 for 10 points less. So
I guess yeah,
it's
86844.
similar to the Hammett situation.
Yeah. All right. So cargoes will be good for now. Now, this is kind of interesting with the vehicles. I noticed that it goes from 100 points to 110 to 130, then down to 120.
Yeah, I suppose. I think. I mean, in a way, it makes sense. Cheap than APC than tank. I
Right.
think I'm pretty sure that the tank was just more expensive at some point.
It was. It was 130 as well, but they nerfed the points. They dropped down the points, probably because no one was picking the tank, which
I
you
mean,
really shouldn't be picking the tank.
I'm still not picking the tank because the
Yeah.
K277 is just better because there's 2 top armor.
Um. Yeah. Yeah. K277. Yeah. That's a fairly decent one. Infantry can come in. Um, yeah, so I'll get the K277, and I think I'm getting Bamboo in the K511. What do you think?
I don't know what you prefer. I'm taking them in the UH1H
Hmm. For a little bit of helicopter
flexibility.
support.
Yeah,
The
not
problem
support
is,
but speed.
yeah, the problem is that that's a 4 HE strength helicopter,
Yeah,
which means
yeah, of
any Red
course.
4 missile is going to one shot it.
Well, technically not. There are 3 HE Red 4 missiles.
Who takes those?
Yeah, exactly. but it's I mean it's still nice to have. It's still faster in the opener, for example, and generally it shouldn't, in theory, be in range for enemy AA. But I can
Well,
completely understand your point.
yeah. Also, those 3 HE power. What if they get a critical hit?
Yeah,
Okay, well, we'll go on to the infantry tab. They've got some pretty decent infantry. Let's see. Um, the Yeba guns in the K200s, they're actually kind of an interesting
they are
combination.
they are pretty decent. Yeah,
They're more of just standalone spam, hold the line, and such. But let's
and
see
their
what
5 point
else.
transport is pretty good. 2 MGs, one of them being a heavy MG, and 2 front armor and side armor. So
Yeah.
definitely a 5 point transport that is good for fire support. If considering the price that you spent literally only 10 points to get this and the infantry squad.
Yeah. Well, let's take a look at the more expensive infantry before I decide getting that. So we've got the Sochong Sus and the Shoksong Su 85. They're the same point. The only difference is that the Sochong Su 85s have better laws, I would say,
And
which I wish. Um, and
and lower availability,
yeah, lower availability, but
which considering the availability, well, on some units, which considering the availability bonus you get for playing South Korea is, or even in Blue Dragons, is honestly is obviously not a big deal.
right. And like you said, with the K200, they don't lose any different availability.
Yeah, in the K200, but I'm personally taking them in the KAFV 25.
Oh, right. I forgot about these. They also have those as well. So, um, what do you think about the KAFV 4050 with the grenade launchers?
I used to like it because it used to be 10 points. Nowadays, the HE output, because it's one of the worst grenade launchers, doesn't have as high of a rate of fire as other grenade launchers, the K4.
Oh,
It's not as big. The difference between of the HE output between the KA325 and the 4050 is not as big anymore as it used to be. And at the same time, the KFV has more range and can engage armor targets or lightly armor targets and helicopters as well. So KFV might not be as good against infantry, but it's not significantly worse. But at the same time, it's a lot more flexible.
all right. That sounds like a good reason. So, yeah, I'll get a card of those as well. Um, I'm thinking of getting some Mistrals. What do you
Yeah,
think of that?
I also
Yeah.
took some interest in the KM900 personally.
KM 900. That's what I was thinking too, because of getting them around quicker.
Yeah,
You
and
don't need.
if we'll get into the supporter, we'll see that none of our AA in there is wheeled,
That is a good point. Now, Habyog 90s come in LVTPs, but no grenade launcher,
and
and I
only one
almost
armor as well. Yeah.
yeah, it's just like why? They would also come in the KM 900.
Yep.
So and they are definitely the Habyong 90 version. For 5 points more. You get like
Oh, of course. Yeah.
yeah,
No,
like
no,
you get
no chance. I'm
huge.
taking the base cap, young. No
No, like you
way.
get a huge RPG and a even better light machine gun, like more accurate and more rounds per minute. It's just like, why don't you just start racking up kills now?
Well, to be fair, the base Habyog do have more range on their MG, so that's the reason why I'm taking them. Obviously not.
Also, Habyog 90s are just better than UDT seals, I think.
Yeah, and UDT seals. I mean, obviously they do more damage against infantry because they're elite, and the primary weapon is just massively better. But
The
it's
light
just
machine
not
guns.
worth it. I think they're a bit similar like the Delta Force, just not as bad. They don't really have a role they fit in.
Right. So I'm thinking of getting some fire support. The Chikasa Hawagi Ban. What do you think of them?
They're alright. Me personally, I just took a second card of Sochung Su in the KAFV. They're gonna be my main infantry. And
I see. So you're going to just be spamming
oh yeah, yeah,
KAFVs.
yeah. And the fire support Ricolas rifle squads, and they're okay for defensively. They're certainly useful, but there's still
Okay.
no ATGM squads, and I don't. I'd rather have a second card of Sochung Su because knowing me, I'm definitely gonna run out if I have only one card.
That's a good point. So what's your last card?
Oh, yeah, Beacon in the K200 as well. So I have having 90, two cards of Sochung Su, a card of
Uh,
Yebigon, and the Mistrals.
I see. Okay, so you're going. Okay, Yebaguns. So you're going to get to go on the Yebagun path. I'm actually going to get towards the fire support because that they actually do pretty decent against
Well,
infantry. So
I have fire support with the Sochung Su in the KFV as well.
yeah, I I
Oh,
see
you
what
mean
you're
fire
saying.
support infantry as in oh yeah, okay, never mind.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to see. I don't know if I'm going to run out of Sochong Sus, so I'm just going to see. If I do, then yeah, these Hawagi bands are probably going to be kicked out for the Yebaguns again as well. Okay.
Yep.
Support tab. One thing I am eyeing is these KM 163 or the K263. And
Well,
what
it's the
this
same. It's Vulcan and pivots all over again.
yes, but these are kind of different. Whereas the Vulcan and the PVADs have to like pause to reload for like a couple seconds after a burst.
No,
These
they
don't
don't.
stop. They don't. No,
No, they're
I
literally the same.
literally the same.
Literally the same.
I could have sworn that my
I am
Vulcans were
one.
keeping them.
I can. If you don't believe me, I can even prove it to you without having to do a test.
Okay.
It's very
It,
easy. long story short, using modding tools, something similar, you can see that the K263 and the pivots and the Hovet and the Macbeth literally share the same gun as in terms of game files, meaning if you were to change the gun of the pivots, you would automatically change the guns of the other units as well. So they are just shared. They use the same code to put it in that perspective. Maybe it's wrong, I don't know. But yeah, they are literally the same.
Because I could have sworn when I was using the US PVADs and such, that every so often they would just pause and do like a reload.
Maybe it lost line of sight or something along those lines, or maybe it was just different back like a long time ago and they just changed it at some point. I don't know.
Yeah, that might be it. Because it was a while. I am thinking definitely getting some K9 Sunders just to start off. And let's see. iHawk Pip 2. I know you don't like the iHawks.
No, I don't.
Okay, so
I took the Beho and the 25 points KM163.
Yeah, that's a good combination there. And then of course you got the K9 Thunder as well.
I got the K9 Thunder and the 40 points motor.
I wonder what's the difference between the 40 and the 45 points. Just
front armor, speed. That's literally it. Ammo is the same, so I don't see the point in.
Yeah, there's no point.
Like it's not like the 5 points are gonna make a difference, but at the same time, not like the armor it's gonna make a difference.
Right. Okay. And I am thinking of getting the rocket trucks because this is like one of the few Blue 4 kind of rocket trucks. But I wish they had smoke. Like, I mean, come on, you gave in everything, almost every Red 4 truck, HE smoke, but you don't give the only Blue 4 one.
Lars.
Oh wait, they're 80 points.
There's also Lars too, and it's not great. It has a low rate of fire, as in like the time between the individual rockets is relatively low. HE is low, suppression is low. My opinion, not worth it.
Yeah, I am looking at it. I just wish it was better, or at least lower in points.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess I'll come back to support once I figure out what I want to do with my points. Tanks, or lack thereof. There is very few tanks that we want. Going to get some K1A1s hardened, and then the rest is just 2 cards of K1s.
Well, I took a K1A1 trained because I'll need that 22 AP gun, then 2 cards of K1s hardened, and unless I need the points, a card of the M848 with 45 points on hardened because it actually has a 17 AP gun.
Yeah, but it's literally a paper tiger.
It is, but there are potentially situations for that, and again, unless I need the activation points in the deck, it's flexibility that I have access to should I need it, so why not?
I remember when the K1 was cheaper than the M1 IP Abrams, and literally just like you put the 2 tanks next to each other, and you're like, why would anyone get the IP Abrams?
Well, there are still units like that in the game, unfortunately,
but at least they've upped the K1. I remember when the K1 was like what 75 points, 80 points, and the IP Abrams was 85 points. Like it was like 5 points more.
Yeah, it must have been quite a while ago, but yeah.
All right, recon. I'm thinking of getting the Fiat 6616.
Keep in mind, it can't fire grenade launcher and autocannon at the same time. Not like the BTR 90. So that's and at the same. And again, this is one of the units. If ignoring the fact that it can't fire the units at the weapons at the same time, if it had good optics, it would probably be 10 points cheaper. Wouldn't you prefer it with good optics, considering you probably buy it for the firepower?
Yes, true.
So that's again one of the cases where you don't really need the very good optics. You prefer cheaper and good optics.
Like the KAF V90?
For example. Which is, by the way, a pretty decent unit.
Yeah. Alright, well, if I was going to... I think I'll get these over the Fiats because, well, kind of have a little bit of better firepower. And pretty accurate. 55 points. 55% accurate for 30 points, as well as being a recon unit.
Yeah, that stuff you only find in Blue 4 or Yugoslavia. Or Finland.
Or Finland. Now recon, we can the take. I can't pronounce these. The special forces.
Toikionsa. Yeah, I took 2 cards of them.
Yeah, they're pretty good. Did you get them in the KM
One
900?
one of them in the KM 900. I would have preferred the one for 10 points because personally I never really found a use for the good optics on the transport, so I'd rather have it 5 points cheaper, but not a huge deal. The other one in the UH60, because the UH60, unlike the Chinook, it's medium size, which means that it accelerates and lands significantly faster, and it's 300 kilometers fast. So should I ever need them to drop somewhere or drop infantry somewhere quick, I have a unit or infantry available in a helicopter, which is again flexibility that may come in handy.
And more significantly, has 6 HP, so it won't die to the first missile.
Unless it's a 6 HE missile.
Yeah, well, then then it's just like, okay, good. That's one less of those missiles I have to worry about.
And then I also took a card of the regular infantry in the K511. Just 20 points, 150 kilometers per hour, very good optics, very good stealth infantry. If they die, so what? It's 20 points. If they don't die, they spot just as well as the elite forces for less than half the price.
All right. I'm thinking of. What do you think about the OH6? I mean,
I
I know
took
it's...
that on top of it. I have 5 cards of Recon.
Ah. All right. So sounds good. I guess lots of recon would be good. Actually, it's not a whole lot of recon if in terms of numbers, just a lot of cards.
Yeah.
Okay, so we will do that. Let me just reorganize. I love reorganizing my recon tab because it makes sense to me in a certain way. All right.
Oh no, I also organize my all the tabs in a specific way. I can understand that.
All right. Recon. Let's see. The M36.
Yeah, it's the only one I have in the tank and the vehicle tab. One of the few 10 points fire support units with two armor that are left. The ASU 85 used to be 10 points, now 15. The Yugoslav M36 used to be 10 points, now 15. Because I think it's the same, but it has more autonomy and speed.
Yeah. It used to be way back that the M36 used to be heat and the M18 used to be kinetic.
Well, the M18 still is kinetic, but
yeah,
it's probably better for it to be kinetic. Because generally, if there's a tank or so that where heat would be useful, there's chances that there are enough other units or something around that the M36 are most likely not gonna get a shot off anyways, especially with the lack of range. And with the kinetic power, they're more efficient against like light IFVs or something.
Right. And the Susung Gong Pose, I wish these things could be good because four Brownie machine guns, it's a nice sight to see, but unfortunately they...
A bit more range against helicopters and maybe ground would probably make them actually pretty decent, because for Brownings, that is probably not to be underestimated.
Oh no, it's not. If you have these going through a forest and the enemy flies helicopters right over, those helicopters like insta stunned.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But not only the M36. That's all we're going to get for the vehicle tab.
Yeah, same.
The helicopters. I'm definitely.
I think it's
some
pretty simple again.
AH-1Ts for the TOW 2s.
And then the AH-1J.
The AH-1J is actually, I think, a little bit worse than those Cobras that we were talking about.
Oh no! I gladly pay the extra 10 points to have a better gun. Gladly.
Well, like I said, I use the gun mainly to take out the infantry, but I'll still get some AH-1Js. AH-1S, for 10 points less for ITOs.
Do you want to hear a... Sorry for interrupting you. Do you want to hear something funny? So I opened the armory tool, which the mod tool, sort of, I guess you could say, which is a very easy and fast way to find out hidden stats and so on. I can share the link with you later, gladly. And the AH-1S, or the twin miniguns on the AH-1S, has half the rate of fire on the Vulcan on the AH-1 than the Vulcan on the AH-1J and other Cobras. Even though in game it displays as much higher, but the thing is, the rate of fire that you see on basically all the guns, they actually only show the ammo consumption and rarely the actual rate of fire.
So
what I'm saying is, the AH-1S Cobra, the 45 points one on the US, these miniguns that have less range have less than half of the rate of fire.
Really?
Yes.
That
On
is
top of also having less range, no AP rounds, and I'm pretty sure also less suppression.
a little bit less suppression.
That's I think they have less suppression. Yeah, they have a bit less. It's not significant, but yeah.
Well, the thing is that there's 2 of those miniguns there.
No, no. That doesn't matter. It literally only says twin minigun, but it's in the game files. It's only one weapon, even though it says twin. It's very often twin guns are the same guns, just with twice the rate of fire in the files. But it does have only half the rate of fire.
Oh, that's interesting.
It's again one of these things that #JustEugen things where you have to fucking dig into the game files to find out stuff that should be obvious but isn't.
Yeah. Well, sneaky Eugen, right?
Yeah, there are a bunch of things that years after the unit got changed in some patch are still not discovered or just recently discovered, possibly because you assumed that you could trust the unit cards, but then you look up the files on Excel and realize, oh, it's actually a completely different way, you know?
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's get to aircraft. Let's get this squared away, and I think we're going to need a lot of aircraft, mainly of the KF-16C Block
Yeah,
52D.
I'm really not sure. 3 rookies sounds tempting. Very tempting.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the AIM-120s are just not gonna hit very well against high ECM planes on rookie, and resulting in you probably losing more and potentially spending 480 points just on this plane. And on the other hand, having one on elite means if you lose it, all your seat is gone.
Yeah. I mean, they've changed this plane so many times. It used to be like 2 hardened, 1 elite that you could only bring in with 2 cards available. Back down to this. It's just they've changed it so many times. It's well, I'm still gonna get it because being able to take out radar. That's
Oh yeah,
what
of
primary.
taking it, of course. The question is just mainly what veterans see.
Yeah. And I wish I don't know. I hate the Peace Pheasant too. They never hit for me.
It is in my opinion pretty good playing. It is just inconsistent. That's the main issue. But
yeah,
most of the time, at least the last 2 missiles hit, and in one of the last patches they at least increased the veterancy, so it automatically comes with hardened. The main thing about it is you get so many of them.
Well,
and it's also one of the
way back when. I can tell you, this plane was pretty consistent when I used it. It would consistently miss. But I'll get it, yeah.
Yeah, I got 2 guards of it even.
The Peace Pheasant one. Peace Pheasant one. Oh, you got 2 cards of Peace.
Yeah. Like I said, I think it's a pretty good plane. Even if it misses a lot, it still has 4 missiles, and with the range scaling, most of the time the last 2, or at the very least the last missile hits. And granted, this isn't Blue Dragon, so you don't have access to the ninja. It is very, very dirty for just sniping AA and just overwhelming your enemy with these Peace Pheasants, because they're cheap, they're fast, and they have a lot of ammo. So you can really bully the enemy with those.
I hate this plane, but I'm willing to give 6 a shot to try your strategy. If not, I'm coming back.
Just keep in mind, it's just 90 points. It's nearly half. It's nearly half of what a Hornet costs. So the question is, should it be just as effective as a Hornet? You know, so I think sometimes, and I'm no exception to that. It's always afterwards or before the game you realize, but in the middle of the game you're just annoyed by it constantly missing. But for 90 points, a, a unit that can potentially kill a full health super heavy on its own, it is very cheap actually.
Keyword potential.
Sure, potential. I mean, in theory, an M36 can obviously also kill a super heavy, but the chances aren't that low on the Peace Pheasant.
All right. What do you think of the Peace Pheasant 1 with 25 227 kilogram bombs?
I think it's okay, but usually in Wargame, a lot of small bombs is nearly always worse than a few big bombs.
Well, I don't know. The SU-24M I actually put out to good effect.
Yeah, the SU-24M is also a slightly different caliber.
That's true. It has slightly bigger bombs.
It has, hang on, let me just quickly check. It has 30 11 HE bombs. So it's like, yeah, I mean, it's not bad, but it also has only 10% ECM.
Okay, so
but me personally, I took the well, I don't have any bombers in the game, in the deck.
You got the Peace Bridge and the KF-16C?
I got the I got, instead of the Peace Bridge, KF-16C, yes. Instead of the Peace Bridge, I got the KF-5E, Zhegong Ho.
Really?
Basically for the same job as the Peace Bridge, but cheaper.
Well,
Also, the 750 kilometers per hour can sometimes be more helpful, because then it can more reliably get 2 missiles off on one helicopter. Because I really only have it for killing helicopters, because no other plane has short-range missiles that can target helicopters, right? So having one of those can be very helpful, especially since South Korea doesn't have access to the Ninja or any anti-helicopter.
I actually gotten 3 Peace Bridges at Elite, and that is just mainly
it's
because
basically the same thing. Well, roll-wise.
Yeah, roll-wise, but this way the missiles hit more often, and compared to the KF-16C, the arming time between like when missiles acquire and fire, especially at close range, the Peace Bridge can get those missiles off a lot quicker in a dogfight. And I've actually had one Peace Bridge shoot down 3 planes in one pass before.
Oh yeah, it has a lot of ammo.
Yeah, and so I'm getting the Peace Bridges, and the last card, that's why I was trying to think between the Peace Pheasant 1, and you talked me out of that, and I'm thinking of getting for the last card the Saber with the rockets, because those rockets reload really quick, and I can just keep
it also
down.
it's just it's very, those type of rocket planes are really annoying if the enemy currently has no AA because of your seat or something, and they just keep coming and coming and coming.
Yeah.
But they also die fast, obviously.
Oh yeah, but I mean, they're so fun to use. I have to get it. All right, I have 2 points left over.
I'm perfectly at 60 points. You might want to reconsider the 45 points M48 in the tank tab.
I could, but then again, I could just also get an extra card of AH-1Ts and upvet them to harden and have really accurate TOW-2 missiles on helicopters. And
probably, but 70% is already very accurate.
But okay, then how about
no, I'm not saying don't do that. You also have more AH-1Ts. Just
yeah. How about 2 cards of trade? How's that? More TOW-2 missiles.
Sure.
All right, then I think we've got our South Korean deck. It's certainly going to be interesting.
Definitely.
All right, just let me go and fill up my seaplane deck so I don't have to think about this later. And I look forward to using this deck shortly. What about you?
Yep, sounds good.
All right, then I'll see you all in the next episode.
See you
Thanks,
guys.
Razzmann.
You're welcome.